First you leave from here, from place A, and you go to place B, and place B is not quite the way it should be. And you go to place C, and then finally you go back to America. I often say today, in an audience, I say, I'm an American, That I was sure it was a different world. I was sure that it was possible to do something that you couldn't do in Switzerland. I was convinced of that. Well, after about a year, I had worked there and gotten jobs, little jobs here and there. Got to know more people, got to know Walker Evans. And then, he suggested I should apply for a project to do, and that was a big help. They don't give you very much money. I think it was $1,800 for a year. It was a different atmosphere in America at that time. It was McCarthy era, suspicion, and they looked at photography as a spy, communist. At that time, when you said something, it was a communist. I don't know how many times I heard it. People look up, little children, or anybody said, "What are you, communist?" I think it was somewhere in Kentucky or Mississippi. I'm walking around on the street and it's hot, and then I see a guy sitting there on a porch, and he says, "Come over, boy." And so I go over there, and he says, "What you doing here?" And I said, "I'm a photographer and photographer, place in New York." He looks at me for about 2 minutes, and then takes out his watch, his watch here. He says, "I'll give you 5 minutes to get out of that state." He says, "Over there on the bridge." Well, when I put the dummy together and had the book, the 80 pictures or whatever, I did show it to lots of people in the States. And then I showed it to Del Pio. And he said, "Well, I'll publish it, but not the way you want to. I publish it with writings in it. On every page, writings. I thought it was stupid, put writing in it like that. People can make up their mind when they see pictures. But nobody else would publish it, so that's how it came out. So it was a compromise, and then I met Kerouac, and the book was printed in France, and I said, "It's gonna come out here," and I wanted to come out here, so why don't you write something and that will be it, the text. So we agreed on that, and I knew the publisher, the American publisher, is a very good publisher, using very good writers always. He said, "Yeah, I'll do it," and that was it. So it came out really the way I wanted it.
Everything within this area here that's called New York City, he found incredulous. So Robert used to say all the time, "What a town, what a town, what a town."
We thought people were funny, or we thought we
we thought the sadness of it made us laugh.
It's a sort of sad comment on America, what a sad country it is, and what the kind of hopeless feelings it has, and it's unjust to do that and call it the Americans. And Kerouac's introduction didn't help really in that way, you know. But then little by little, and then the younger people, you know, then they, there was just a time then things were changing. I mean, I'll watch the change. I mean, that's what it is. You work and you, in a period, you know, you do your work and you do as good as you can. And then 10 years later or so, you see what period you worked in and how you were influenced by what went on around you, graphically or photographically or editorially, all that. That kind of reflection made me believe more in myself, not trust anything else. That was the best you could come up with your own.
Leaving home, coming home. The voyage of an old man with important memories.
Well, I simply knew it because of the kind of people I fell in, or these kind of people were my friends. These were beatniks, and these were the people who produced the change in America. And, they were not photographers, they were the poet Ginsberg and Kerouac and Corso. It was a good group, you know, that we don't have to work every day. They didn't have solutions or what, but they knew they wouldn't do it the way it always goes, that there's other ways to do it. They had an influence, maybe a big influence on change. Was a change in how you feel about life, living a life and having a job or not having a job. Kerouac listened to a guy on the radio late at night often, and had his earphones on. Listened to him, he sort of played on the piano and listened to the voice. I said, I wanted to make a film with the group, and we had started already. And he said, yeah, well, then you should just put music like this on. And he talked a little bit about the film, what it could be. As if the film turned out something else. But what happened is that I knew how great he was to improvise on things. As soon as we had it together, 3 times 10 minutes, I said, okay, I'll bring it to you. Or we go to a studio, to a sound studio, and you comment on the 10 minutes each reel. It's just the story of Poésie. It was fun. It was great fun. We really had fun. Yeah. Well, it's a good trip with them. Yeah, Jagger is a very, very smart man. I mean, I think I had to do something for a record cover. He liked me because I didn't really care that much to do it. Then I didn't know anything about music. That also pleased him. And then I said, I'll make the film, see what happens. And I said, I wanted my friend to work with me. I don't want to work alone. And they played together. I like Keith Richards, Oh, that was a good trip, tough trip too. I think I always said the person I know best is myself, and that's what maybe interests me the most. So the movies I'll have to do something with my life or my personality, which was a mistake, really, which was just a mistake. But
Wouldn't it be fantastic if you didn't even have to have a piece of celluloid between you and what you saw? If the eye were its own projector instead of its own camera? I am a camera. That's a beautiful title. I am a camera too.
You learn from these sad, tragic parts of life sometimes that goes on. Yeah. So they kind of form part of you, what you do, it's related to something like that. It's not like a family, but it's, yeah. It had to do with life more than with art,